Woodward Sports on a Thursday? Is it a Thursday? I don't know. I can't keep track of the days anymore. I know it's June 24th, but this is calling. We've officially come up with a name. It's called Ballin with Bell. I don't know who came up with that, but I like the name. Was that you, Kennedy?
Ballin with Bell.
Props. I always like to give proper attribution.
Ballin
so,
with
Kennedy,
Bell.
You came up with it. I have always been a fan, okay, and I'm serious. We, and I'm going to include myself in your group, fans, media members, we think that we get football like these guys. And then you have a conversation with these guys more often than not, and you understand how little you know.
All right.
I always bring up, I had a conversation. I got to sit in a film room with Gary Pinkel, who was the head coach at Toledo and then later went on to success at Missouri. And I asked him once, can I come in and sit in the film room? I swear I'm not going to say a word. I want to watch how it works. And he said, if you say anything, we'll beat you up. But yes, of course you can. And then afterwards, it was funny because then I had 1,000 questions and they showed me things because the little things that these guys that live this game, live, eat, and breathe this game, the little things that they see, I'm never going to be able to relate to that. I'm not blowing smoke up his behind or anybody else's behind. I can study it as much as I want. I can learn all the names. I can learn all the stupid Super Bowl champions, all that stuff. They just see stuff. Their brains are wired differently than our brains are wired. Even if you were the guy that had, the tremendous high school career. So, with that being said, let's get right to it. It's Ballin with Bell.
Ballin with Bell. So, Sean, I'm going to ask you a question. When you look at this image right here, what's the first thing you notice? Because when you and I both talked about this a little bit earlier, you said that you're never going to apologize for another team disadvantage.
Yes.
Correct. So when you look at this, what's the first thing you see?
Well, it looks like they're going to bring pressure to the outside, but my guess, the safety creeping up is going to back up into coverage. That's my guess. So right now, you only got legitimately 1, 2, 3, the lineman. He's lined up outside, and you've got the 3 backers.
That's perfect. And that's the first thing you see. The first thing I see is the Lions' disadvantage. It's the Lions' disadvantage. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players on the field.
Yep.
And so now they're down a guy. And when you're in a run game, you like to put a body on a body.
Was this in the Caldwell era?
No, actually, this is last year. Thank you very much. No, this definitely wasn't us. And right now, if you can rewind it back just a little bit. Can you rewind it back a little bit? At the beginning, hold up. We'll hit play and go to the end zone. Please, go to the end zone for me. The end zone view. Just let it play out. All right, it's about to go to the end zone view. And I want to show you this. Pause it. All right. So right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men right now. So by them only having 10 people on the field and them motioning Rudolph back to the left side, motion it for me. Hit play in slow motion. Pause.
Now I know what's going on.
Pause. The defense does not react at all. They don't react at all to this motion. And now you have 1, 2 guys right here, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. You have 4 blockers for 2 guys here. You have the safety so far out. Hit play. Slow motion. This is going to be, pause it. This is power to the left and to the open side. And if you look, he's pulling for this guy right here that he just took because they just have more guys. They have more blockers than defenders at the time. Play it. And so the pulling guard is going up to the safety, and that's the biggest fear is for a safety to see a 300-pound man running full speed. Devin Cook is patient. He lets the play out, and he takes it for a 70-yard touchdown, taking advantage of everything the Detroit Lions failed
Look
to
at
do.
that.
Ridiculous. But Ballin with Bill, breaking it down. Come back next Thursday. Are you happy, Art? Here we go.
I like that. Art or Joique, can I tell you why I like that? And as God is my witness, I did not watch that film play itself out, because a little game that I want to play is I want to see if I can even pretend to see what Joique is seeing or the running back is seeing. And Joique, I was actually happy to see that I did that. And especially once when Kyle Rudolph went in motion,
Yeah.
that like at that point in time, I go, oh, I know for a fact they're running to the left. Because I didn't remember that play, but like the way the Lions defense was set up, you know, and showing the blitz from the outside and everything, I was like, well, if the Vikings are smart, you run that tight end in motion, all he has to do is chip one guy.
Yes.
And this might go a long way. So honest to God, I didn't watch it play, but I love watching that stuff. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And so because even with that being the case, I'm not too worried about a blitz because the O-line is going to take any run through.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to take any run through. And so the whole time I'm looking, and I used to wear a smoke visor so that the defense can't see my eyes when I'm looking at. And so if I see Rudolph come across and motion across my face and I see the defense don't slide or react with them at all, and on top of that, they don't have any outside leverage to the left, it was one thing about that play I didn't like. Rudolph kind of turned his body, which gives a running back a one-way go, because he's basically telling the defender that I'm going to give you the outside to run upfield. And so he's going to force the running back inside, which just so happened it was clear because they didn't have any defenders there.
And that's got one-way go?
It's a one-way go. So a one-way go is basically you want your tight end, you want your blockers to stay head up on their blocks. That way you can go left or right, you can set it up. But if they turn to a side, you can only go one way then. And so just kind of playing the game, you just kind of know these small things. So if you play from the end zone version.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
So we'll let it play out. And that's why I like to watch. So when we watch film, we usually watch the film from the end zone version, this part. So if you play in the slow motion, if you look at 82, he turns him outside. So basically you can't go outside anymore. So you have to go up. You have to go up inside. And he has the speed to get downfield, make some guys miss. And
he made one guy miss. Isn't that unbelievable? I mean, literally, like watch this run. He made one guy miss. Watch 33. He broke one tackle. Okay, go ahead, Art. I mean, he made one guy miss. It's crazy.
He beat an arm tackle and just turns on the Jets. And if you look at the safety moves out of the way because he doesn't want to take on that big man chase. And so that's what really opens up everything right there when that safety kind of moves out the way instead of just coming straight down and meeting. He made a business decision and decided to get out the way.
What are you seeing? Okay, so now I want you to be Dalvin Cook for a second.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? I'm
saying 6 before the play even happened. First,
for real?
Yeah, I'm saying 6 before the play even happens. If
No
I had to
shit.
speak, yeah, I have 4 blockers.
Dude.
So if you go to that end zone, just the steal version, you're counting your blockers to their defenders. The defenders is only 2, so the defenders would be 2 past the center. The center has a head up zero technique on him. He has a head up guy on him. And then anybody to the left will be the defenders to that side. You count your blockers to the left based off those defenders. We have 4 blockers compared to their 2 defenders. So I'm looking at, if not a touchdown, a big play. And a big play for a running back could be 12-plus yards. And when that particular play, he was able to take a 7.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, Joique. I love when you guys explain that stuff because it's like I'm never going to know what it's like. I mean, sometimes you have to find your own hole. I mean, that was the beautiful thing. How many times did we say it with Barry Sanders? Everybody says, well, what if he had a great offensive line? Well, 2 things. That offensive line wasn't bad, okay? That wasn't a bad offensive line. Was it a great offensive line? Nah. But I think
who's your favorite? Who was Lomas? Was Lomas?
I love Lomas.
Kevin Glover.
Kevin Glover was great. I just love Lomas as a human being. He's just such a wonderful guy. Shout out Lomas.
So I worked with Kevin Glover for a second, and
Did you?
He used to give me stories about Barry, and I would say, okay, that's why he's the greatest. That's why
you know what? He didn't need no damn hole.
Yeah.
He didn't need no damn hole.
So
That's what made Barry Barry.
So funny thing is, so I did the intern at University of Maryland, and Kevin Glover just so happened to work at the AD's office. He worked in that department, and so I would sit down in his office. He'd give me stories.
Terps?
Yep. And so he'll give me stories about Barry. So day after the game, he'll come in, him and Lomas or some of the O-linemen would be in there getting treatment. And when they're done getting treatment, they'll be walking out of the stadium, heading back home. And when they were walking by the weight room, they would hear weights hitting, clean, clean, clean. And they'll walk in there, and Barry will be in there with 6 plates, 650 pounds on each side. And they'll walk in and say, "Hey, Barry, you need a spot?" And Barry said, "Oh, no, I'm fine, guys. You guys head on home." And they said, "Okay, no problem." So they kind of creeped around the corner as if they left, but they came back and they was watching. And Barry took the 650 off and then 10 sets of, did 4 sets of 10 with that weight. And this is in the middle of the season. And I'm like, you have to have some monstrous legs to hit 650 for 10 for 4 sets. I mean, so that's the type, and these are the stories I'm hearing about Barry, and just makes me say, wow, I looked up to the right person.
I love what Kenny said here. Look back at that play, and Kenny said, and that was with our defensive guru as the head coach. Kenny, that is such a brilliant point on many different levels.
It's two issues from the start of this play. First issue is only 10 players on the field, and then the second issue, they didn't react to the motion at all. And
you know what the third issue is to me? You always have to know the tendency of your opposition, right?
Right.
What's the tendency? You know damn well that guy sneaking up is going to blitz because Matt Patricia doesn't blitz. So that's why it's like, so basically you're tipping your cap to me. Not only do you have that formation, but you're showing blitz on the far. Ooh, we're going to bring the safety. Wait, no, you're not. You're going to drop back in coverage because that's what you do.
Well, the safety was coming down because he had the tight end. That's why it was coming down.
Son of a bitch. and then the safety didn't move with the tight end, which makes